Hey folks, this is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle. I'd like to welcome you to the first edition of Stupid Things That Inmates Do. Anybody that's worked in corrections for longer than a week understands that not all inmates are stupid. Most of them are relatively intelligent if you talk to them one-on-one. Granted, when you get them in large groups, they tend to listen to the loudest and often dumbest individual in the group. But this is specifically about stupid things that inmates do. I've worked confinement for the very majority of my career. About 14 years I've worked in confinement. And one of the things that inmates do that infuriates me to no end is they threaten suicide because they're not getting their way. I take every single threat of suicide literally. The first time that I don't take a threat of suicide literally and the inmate hangs himself, I will not be able to live with myself. Okay? If you can, you have a darker soul than I do. But I take every threat of inmate suicide seriously. But when you're going through your confinement unit and you've got an inmate that is just down there talking to another inmate 7 cells away, that's pretty loud. It states in my legislative, in the Florida Administrative Code, Chapter 33, 602-220, which is administrative confinement, that confinement will be kept at a reasonable noise level. So I walk up to the inmate that's talking to another guy 7 cells down, and mind you, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I say, hey man, I need you to hold it down because there's other people in here trying to sleep. I'm not being rude. I'm not being disrespectful. I haven't uttered the first swear word. Literally said, I need you to hold it down so everybody else can sleep. The next thing he said to me was, oh, you want to play like that? Well, I'm going to kill myself. Stupid things that inmates do, okay? So I ended up having to pull this guy out of his cell, leave him in restraints in the holding cell where we could watch him one-on-one until medical got there to determine the validity of his threat of suicide. Medical was the only people on duty. The mental health professionals were not there. We had nurses, okay? Well, they determined that he was manipulative, which I could have told you that, but it is what it is. He's manipulative. Last thing he says to me, you put me back in that cell, I will kill myself. So that's just one of the things that inmates do that I consider stupid. Okay, I told you to hold it down. All you had to do was say yes, sir, and hold it down. I didn't curse at you. I didn't yell at you. I didn't fuss at you. I didn't do anything out of line. But he chose to do something stupid and threaten suicide because I corrected his behavior. Folks, take every threat of suicide seriously. I'm not telling you not to. But as you work longer in the business, now what I gave you was an extreme example, okay? An extreme example of an inmate being manipulative by using suicide. But there are other instances where the subtlety is nowhere near as extreme. It's a little bit more difficult to discern. So if an inmate makes a threat or a gesture that he is going to harm himself, do not ignore that. Take every one of them seriously, because the very first time you don't take it seriously, you could wind up with a real suicide on your hands. And I've been there before. That is unpleasant. Okay? Don't fall into that. Folks, this is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle. That's all I got for this video. As always, remember, domestic violence needs to go away. If you are the victim or you know the victim of a domestic violence situation, 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. That is a domestic violence hotline. The people at the other end of that phone call have the tools, abilities, and resources to help the victims of domestic violence. If you know the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, please say something to somebody. Remember that the worst thing you can do is nothing. And if you are the aggressor in a domestic violence situation, there's help for you too. First, admit that you need that help. Second, ask for it. Folks, if you like the video, make sure you hit the like button. You want to see more, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications when I post new videos. And leave me some comments. Tell me about some stupid things that inmates do in your facility. All right? Don't give me any sensitive information. Don't give me any ongoing investigation stuff. What I told you about was years ago. Okay? But it's still pertinent today. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video.